He didn't even try. The thing is that what we've seen with, he's Mexican. Remember Fernando versus Trinidad? First round, Fernando gets dropped and hurt, but he still kept coming. Then a few rounds later, drops Trinidad. He could beat Crawford because Crawford, is very talented. But I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong.
The boxing world was shocked by Canelo Alvarez's surprising loss to Terence Crawford. However, one prominent voice stood out: trainer Robert Garcia. Instead of simply analyzing the defeat, Garcia expressed strong criticism. He harshly assessed the performance of boxing's biggest star and uncovered a troubling reality about what went wrong even before Canelo stepped into the ring.
He didn't even try. The thing is that what we've seen with, he's Mexican. What we've seen with Mexican fighters like Chavez, who was having a hard time against Mayweather. Chavez, who was having a hard time against Meldrick Taylor. But he kept going. He kept trying and, missing, getting hit, whatever. But he kept going, cutting the ring. He had that mentality, that heart of a warrior. Barrera did it a few times. Morales did it a few times. Just to mention those. Marquez coming from behind, or a very close, tough fight against Pitbull, Diaz, Juan, what do they call him?
Baby Bull.
The Baby Bull. I said Pitbull. Baby Bull. But, never gave up, kept going, kept doing it. That's what Canelo missed, man. Even if he would have lost, but never changed the game plan, never tried anything different. Always kept the same rhythm, even though he was losing, still looking for that left to the body with no, from far, opening up, keeping his chin up. He's never been in those situations, so maybe that hurt him.
His revelations have left the boxing community questioning everything. Months prior, Garcia praised Canelo's training, calling the inclusion of Jaron Boots Ennis in his camp a smart move.
Your sparring session with Boots Ennis. How did that happen? What happened?
I cannot say much, but he called us, and a fighter like me, we always want great sparring because there is a thing, right?
Time to eat. It's fun, sparring Canelo. Trying to pick his brain. He got I think he 70 fights in, 10 pro 15. So I was picking his brain, having fun, and sharpening my tools. That's about it. Thank you, coach. Yep. Good rounds. Feel good. Feel great.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down. And Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60, maybe. And he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So
he believed it gave Canelo a significant advantage. Yet that initial optimism crumbled when Garcia witnessed the fight. The uncomfortable truth emerged. Canelo and his team had become complacent. As Garcia noted, they got too comfortable.
I think Crawford won 9, maybe 10 rounds out of the whole 12 rounds. One judge had it very close. I don't know why. I think Crawford clearly won. The reason is because Crawford is hungry to make history, to become a legend. Canelo has already accomplished too much, has already done too much, and he wasn't. I don't see that hunger in him anymore. I don't see that those changes anymore. He fights flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. He's not fast anymore, and that's why I picked Crawford by decision.
Years of success, fame, and wealth had dulled the edge of a once fierce competitor. They had turned into businessmen in a sport that requires fighters. But complacency was not the only factor that ate away at the champion's drive. Also, Garcia noticed a painful lack of that spirit in Canelo. He argued that Canelo's performance lacked the mentality and heart of a warrior that defined many legendary Mexican boxers like Julio Cesar Chavez, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Eric Morales.
You know, we need to see the hunger that Morales, Barrera, Marquez, Chavez, Salvador Sanchez had when they know they're behind, when they know they're losing. They fucking go out there to fucking try to knock their opponents out. They go out there to try to either you knock me out or I'm gonna knock you out. They go out there to try and get that win. Remember Fernando versus Trinidad? First round, Fernando gets dropped and hurt, but he still kept coming. Then a few rounds later, drops Trinidad. You know, that's what Canelo's missing. You know, that's what people want to see from Canelo. That's what Mexicans want to see from Canelo. Where you're losing, like the perfect example of the Crawford. You're losing. That's something Canelo has never showed us. Canelo has never had that. He's too comfortable. He's got too much money. He's accomplished so much. He's one of the biggest in history when it comes to accomplishments and money.
Garcia remembered how those fighters would dig deep, push harder, and never back down when facing challenges. They consistently searched for a way to win, even when the odds were against them. Canelo, however, appeared resigned to his fate without truly fighting back. So what did he fail to do in the crucial moments? The startling answer was predictability. Garcia pointed out that Canelo fought as if he were on autopilot, sticking to a strategy that never changed. He never altered the game plan, never tried anything different, always kept the same rhythm. Even as the rounds passed, he was flat-footed, throwing one punch at a time, aiming for a single body shot that never materialized. He lacked the aggressive footwork and dynamic combinations that once defined his style. The inability to adapt, even when it was clear that his approach wasn't effective, truly puzzled Garcia. It was not just about strategy, it was about the passion within.
Look, I think this fight now with Crawford is gonna make it a better fight. I think it's a very close fight. Now I switch. I always thought Canelo was gonna be too big, too strong, but now I'm gonna pick Crawford to win this fight. Crawford is very talented, great footwork, great combinations, and a very strong fighter. You know, facing him off, he's actually the taller man. So I'm leaning towards Crawford now. I switch my opinion. I think Canelo looked too slow, too flat-footed. One punch at a time. I don't think that's gonna be enough for him to beat Crawford. Crawford's too fast, too strong, just too good.
According to Garcia, the biggest hit to Canelo's legacy was his lack of hunger. He believed Canelo had already achieved too much, earned so much money, that the fierce desire to win was no longer there. The most damning observation was that Canelo didn't even try in the final rounds, showing no urgency to change the outcome. Garcia painted a picture of a prime Chavez, who was so eager to connect with his opponent that he would jump in the air to do so. In contrast, Canelo never displayed that kind of raw determination, but what happened next shocked everyone. Despite the harsh criticisms, there is still hope for Canelo's future. Garcia expressed his desire for a rematch, but only if Canelo returns with the hunger he needs and makes a lot of changes.
Do you think Crawford should retire after this or fight someone else?
Look, I think a rematch would be fucking good for Crawford to just beat him again and do the same thing if Canelo doesn't have any changes. If he doesn't, he needs to do a lot of changes. Canelo needs to do a lot of changes. I think a rematch would fucking do triple the money that he did in this fight and then retire. But I would be so happy to hear he retires as a 3-time undisputed, what is it, like 4 or 5 division champion. I think he would be one of the greatest of all time if he retired today. Canelo, if he wants to continue making money, then he could still go make a lot of money, because there's a lot of money out there. He's got the support from Mexicans. He fills out arenas. He's done so much. He could still do it again, but he needs to make some changes. 100%. If he continues doing the same thing, then I shouldn't fight anymore.
Garcia boldly stated that if the right Canelo shows up, the hungry, aggressive version, he could definitely beat Crawford. The physical capabilities are still there, but the mental strength has disappeared.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him.
The question now is, what exactly needs to change for Canelo to regain his former glory? Beyond simply wanting it more, Garcia outlined specific adjustments Canelo must implement. He needs to put relentless pressure on his opponents, throw more punches, and be ready to risk getting hit to land his own shots. He should get a little dirty if needed. Garcia also mentioned that the corner was too comfortable and needed to be a little more stern and aggressive in their coaching. He even suggested a radical idea. Canelo might need a new voice in his camp to challenge him and push him out of his comfort zone. The fallout from this defeat, however, reaches past just Canelo. Crawford's victory was historic, securing his spot among the greatest, yet his future holds a series of risky choices. Garcia believes Crawford could retire now and be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time. However, big paydays await. The risks are significant, especially against larger fighters like David Benavidez, whom Garcia says is too big, too strong, and could overpower both Canelo and Crawford. Crawford's best options seem to be a lucrative rematch with Canelo or moving down to 160 pounds to become the undisputed champion in a fourth division, a remarkable achievement. While the boxing world awaits Crawford's next decision, the biggest questions still linger for Canelo. Robert Garcia's harsh evaluation leaves Canelo at a pivotal moment in his career. His critiques of comfort, a missing warrior's heart, a stagnant strategy, and lost hunger resonate throughout the sport. Canelo has accomplished more than almost any fighter of his generation, but will this awful performance now define his legacy? Or can he silence the critics, reignite the drive that once made him boxing's undisputed king, and prove that the heart of a warrior still beats within him? The entire boxing world is waiting for the answer. So, that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.